All right, so as promised, doing not a detailed but a brief, explanation of KP astrology and what exactly it is. Well, in Vedic astrology, when you have a software, in that software, when you put in your information, your detail of birth, time of birth, place of birth, it's going to ask you, what kind of a calculative system are you looking for? Are you looking for Lehre? Are you looking for BV Raman? Or are you looking for KP system? And you will click one of the dots and do the calculation according to that. And the most vastly used is obviously Lehre, especially in Gemini astrology, which uses the sign aspects as well, which I will discuss later on also. But these are the three main systems. So they calculate. So depending upon where you're born, these mathematical software calculations calculate exactly where each planet might be in your birth chart. And I know it kind of sounds silly that, hey, I thought it was supposed to be one sort of calculation, okay? But the beauty of it is that you can predict the exact same detailed scenario with Lehre, with BV Raman, as well as KP system. The only thing is, the easiest of them all is KP system. So once you know KP system, and if you're like an intermediate or beginner, KP system just looks like a walk in the park. Where in Lehre, you have to know, really have to know the combinations in the chart. You really have to know, sometimes in Parashara Hora Shastra, they say that, okay, if Saturn is in Capricorn in the 10th house, and then there are 4 planets in air sign, this person's going to be this. And that is true just as much. And then you look at the Varga charts, meaning divisional charts, it becomes true as well. In Lehre, not in Lehre, Lehre works the same way, but not in Lehre, BV Raman, going on in my mind. But in KP system, it really comes down to the house significators for each planet, okay? And what do I mean by is this? When KP astrology was discovered by Krishnamurti, okay, and it was known as Krishnamurti Paddhati astrology, what he discovered is this, is that one whole year we think is equal to 365 days, just like each zodiac sign is 30 degrees long. But according to his precise calculation, he said, no, 1 year is never 365 days, because if you calculate everything precisely, the 365 days is really 365.23 days, because there's always a little bit of leap year calculations, and all of his mathematical calculation that he does, which he explains, which again it'll take a long time to explain to you, but each year is not equal to always 365. It could be more, okay? And so based on that, he said one zodiac sign, which is 30 degree long, okay, one like Aries zodiac sign is 30 degree long, is not really 30 degrees long sometimes it might be 30.32, 30.55, 30.64 degrees long. And so this is why KP astrology is really based on the cusp of each planet and houses. And because of the fact, if one zodiac sign is not really 30 degree exactly, it might actually be 30.23 or maybe 29.87, but most literally just really means 30 or above, okay? And so what happens if Aries a zodiac sign, which we think is 30 degrees long, but it's 30.32, that means your sun, okay, when it went all the way into from Aries to Taurus, and your regular birth chart shows Taurus placement, but when you check your Narayani Bhavachalit chart, which really shows the KP astrology calculation, your sun moves back to Aries. What does that mean? So that means because that zodiac sign was bigger than 30 degrees, sun really didn't pass the 30.35 degrees that it was supposed to pass in order to go to the zodiac sign of Taurus. So then it shows no, it's still in Aries sign. And so this is how you're able to see that, okay, these are my true cusp placements of the planets. And what does it really mean? Because Narayan Bhavachalit chart is really seen in Vedic astrology for the true placement of the planets during their dasha, Okay, so if your sun is, if your main birth chart shows that your sun is in Taurus, but then your Narayani Bhavachalit chart shows your sun is in Aries, that means when your sun dasha comes, it will give effect of the first house. Okay, or let's say, let me give you a better example. Let's say sun is, you have an Aries ascendant, okay, and sun is placed in the second house of the main birth chart in Taurus. In the Narayani Bhavachalit chart is placed in Aries again, so it's one sign backwards. So what it's trying to tell you that when the dasha of sun comes, sun will give effect of the sign of Taurus, but the first house. So you see where I'm getting to this? So sun is still the zodiac sign during the dasha doesn't change, but the house placement changes. So you say, okay, in dasha of the sun, this person's going to get the effect of the first house, but in Taurus. Okay, but let's talk about other aspects of KP astrology, as in the subdivisions and the nakshatra lord and sub lord and why they matter. So this is how KP astrology works. If this is your zodiac sign, one zodiac sign equals to 30 degrees. And this is why if you multiply that by 12 zodiac signs, it equals to 360, which is the circulations of the entire sky above your eye. Okay, so when you look up at the sky and you see all these constellations, it's a 360-degree view. Okay, but in Vedic astrology, that one single zodiac sign is divided into 2.5 parts, known as nakshatras. Okay, so Aries is divided into 2.5 parts, known as Ashwani, Bhrani, and Kritika, meaning Ashwani is being ruled by the South Node Ketu, Bhrani is ruled by Venus, and Kritika is ruled by the Sun. So in Aries, which is ruled by Mars, there are 3 other planets that are coming into play. Okay, so this is basic Vedic astrology. This is why 2 people of the same zodiac sign might think differently, no matter what planet it is, Sun or Moon, Jupiter or Venus. But what Krishnamurti did is this: he divided that each 2.5 part into 9 different sections, and those each 9 different section is being controlled by your ascending dasha lords. Okay, so Ashwani, is now divided into 9.5 part itself, starting from Mars, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, just the way the dasha system works. Okay, so depending on what degree your planet, moon, or sun is placed in this sign, though they're going to give effect not just of Aries, but the nakshatra lord and the sub nakshatra, the 9 divisions of that actual nakshatra. And so this is why when you see a KP system astrology, you might see a chart with all the planets like you see here, and they're giving house verifications, meaning that sun, when sun dasha comes, when sun period comes, whether it's mahadasha, antradasha, okay, it'll give effect of these houses 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Moon is giving 11, 2, 4, 6. Rahu is giving 6 and 5. Mercury is giving 5, 8, and 12. Okay, so this is how you see it. And in KP astrology, they said anytime you have a combination of 5, 8, and 12, or 6, 8, and 12, you're not going to have a good dasha. So if you go through a sun mahadasha, and sun is showing you 2, 4, and 11 house, but sun's nakshatra sublord is now showing 5, 8, and 12, that means you're going to have a very mixed dasha, meaning you will gain some money, you will lose some money, you might have marriage, but you might get a divorce if that 6, 8, and 12 lord might be sitting in the 7th house, it's signifying the 7th house. So this is how this thing works. But KP also has that scenario of different degree sizes also. Now these are kind of known as the Placidus houses. The reason for is this, the why is that your sun was in Taurus, but then in the Narayani Bhavachalit chart, which is a KP calculation, it goes back into the sign of Aries, okay? Because if this is your zodiac sign, the first house has the sign of Aries in it, okay, as you see here. But this is a normal chart showing that, okay, one house is 30 degrees long. But what KP system is saying is this, that house, that Aries zodiac sign, might actually be overlapping not just in the first house, but in the second house as well, a little bit. So if sun is in, let's say, 0.20 degrees Taurus, it is still in Aries, because Aries is moving into the second house, but it is ending at like 30.54, while Sun is at 30.20, Aries. So even though it overlaps it into the second house, the Sun is still Sun still is in Aries. Okay, so this is why they're able to switch signs, and this is how you are able to understand that, okay, when the dasha comes in, I'm gonna get effect of the first house, but Sun is going to be in Taurus, the sign of Taurus. And to explain this further, make it even more in layman's term, let's say your Sun is debilitated in the 7th house. Okay, so you have Aries ascendant, Sun in the 7th house. So what an astrologer would do, somebody who knows about the KP system, that, okay, you have a bad relationship with a father. Let's just assume that this person has bad relationship with a father. But this astrologer will say this, okay, so your Sun dasha is coming up in 6 years, but during that time, your Sun is showing the coordinates houses of 11, 7, and 4. So this astrologer will say, your Sun is debilitated, but when the dasha comes, you're going to get a lot of money, you're going to get married, and you will gain land, because it's signifying the 4th house of land and home, 7th house of marriage, 11th house of gains and hopes and wishes to be coming true. So even though Sun is debilitated, this person will get money. And this is how you find out why is it that my Sun is debilitated and I got money, is because the nakshatra and the sub-nakshatra I was sitting in are signifying these 3 houses. And so it doesn't matter if it's debilitated or not. But because in the main Rashi chart, Sun is debilitated, you can say, yes, you have a bad relationship with the father. You have a low ego. But when the dasha comes in, you will gain what you want. All right? So guys, this was just a very brief explanation of KP astrology, which is Krishnamurti Paddhati astrology. And I hope it kind of just sat in. Watch this video over and over again. Maybe I will make another video really explaining this in like a 30-minute session. Otherwise, if you're new to my channel, subscribe above. And if you want to know more about this stuff, check out my link below on my website and check out my articles there, my book there. See ya.